I got distracted and forgot we were playing hide and seek?
Yes! It's very believable.
G'day, you cheeky dogs. Today we're going to be breaking down the Bluey episode Hide and Seek.
Hey, Bingo, let's play hide and seek. Yeah, hide and seek.
We are going to be going through all of the Easter eggs, some of the hidden details, and of course, the main theory that started because of this episode, and that is, does Bluey have ADHD?
G'day, cheeky dogs. My name's Margie, and I'm an Australian currently living in America.
Where could they be hiding? Ooh, tennis ball.
Of course, though, if you love Chattermax as much as we do here, don't forget to hit that like button down below, that subscribe button, and that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey theories, Bluey breakdowns, and any kind of Bluey video. Okay, with all that being said, let's jump into the theory idea of Bluey having ADHD. Or is she just representing what kids are like at the age of 6? Now, this theory first popped up on Reddit, and not surprisingly, it was when this episode came out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And the idea was that Bluey was showing very specific signs of inattentive ADHD, which is commonly undiagnosed in girls. Now, in case you don't know, there are 3 different types of ADHD. There is the inattentive type, there is the hyperactive type, which of course is the type that we see Jack having in the episode Army.
There's something going on with me. I'm not good at doing what I'm told. I can't sit still, and I can't remember anything, like numbers or letters on my hat.
And again, boys are typically diagnosed with this type of ADHD, and this is sort of the type that people most associate the idea of ADHD with. There is, of course, also combined ADHD, which is a mixture of those two. Now, it is assumed from this episode then that Bluey has the inattentive type of ADHD, and these are some of the symptoms of it. Difficulty sustaining attention, easily distracted, and an inability to complete tasks. All of these things are something that we see Bluey doing in this episode Hide and Seek. She has difficulty sustaining attention even when she's just talking to her dad at the very start of the episode. She gets easily distracted with the dragonfly, and then of course we see this throughout the entire episode of Hide and Seek. She is easily distracted with Chattermax, and she has an inability to finish the task, which is hide and seek. She completely forgets to find her family.
Where could they all be? Okay, I need to figure this out.
And we also find out that this is like a regular thing apparently that she does, because her whole family knows that she does this every time they play hide and seek.
We'll only hide if you promise not to forget you're looking for us.
I've never done that.
Yes, you have.
Another aspect of this episode that could also possibly back up this theory is the fact that she does meditation, and this is a strategy, specifically mindful meditation, to help with inattentive ADHD. And the section where we see Bluey sitting down in the backyard and calming her mind down and focusing on what she's meant to be remembering, this could be a strategy that perhaps her parents have been trying to teach her to help her with this type of symptom. Now, of course, we should also keep in mind that Bluey stories are meant to appeal to a very wide audience, so they can be very general. And because of that, they can be interpreted very differently and, of course, very personally. Someone who perhaps is a girl and who has ADHD might very well find that these are the same things that they went through when they were a child or what they're going through right now. Whereas someone who perhaps does not have ADHD but also sees this episode might also relate to Bluey because, yeah, that is also something that some kids are like. Sometimes they are very easily distracted. And we saw people on Reddit very much talking about this and the fact that they don't think that this is the case at all and that it's just meant to show a kid being distracted with a game, and hide and seek is a very easy game to get distracted in as well because it's sort of more of a long concentration type of game realistically, where the kid is basically by themselves the whole time having to continue their focus.
Why isn't anyone answering me?
Of course, at the end of the day, whether Bluey does have ADHD or not, there is a really big positive, I think, with the episode Hide and Seek, in that it can facilitate that conversation between a parent and their child about whether or not they do have similar symptoms like what Bluey could possibly be showing for inattentive ADHD, and just creating a discussion about that, or about the fact that maybe some kids are like this and some kids aren't. So I do think at the end of the day, just that idea of creating that conversation with families after watching this episode is a really positive thing. Now, of course, I do want to kind of delve into this topic a little bit more deeper, because we do now have 3 seasons worth of information on Bluey, whereas with this one we're at like episode 42, so we have like a bit of information about Bluey, but she's never really shown this kind of behavior before in any episode, so it does feel like maybe she was specifically just like it as like a plot device for this episode. But like I said, we do have 3 seasons worth of stuff now, and of course the episode Surprise did pretty heavily hint at the idea that there's something going on with Bluey. So I think I will talk about that when I finally do a more in-depth review of the episode Surprise. But comment down below, cheeky dogs, do you think that Bluey does have ADHD? Why not? Do you relate to Bluey in this episode? Or if you don't, do you know someone who perhaps does? I'm really curious as to what your thoughts are.
Carrot horn.
Now, of course, moving on from this then into our traditional Easter eggs that we saw in this episode, and of course, we had 2 long dogs, both of which were in the playroom. One was a little blue long dog next to like the sort of bookshelf that we see in the few different scenes where Bluey's going in and out past Bingo, and another one is in a one-off scene at the very end when she sees the dragonfly going past the playroom. We can see the little blue long dog as well on the toy bench. We also have 3 tennis balls as well. We see one that is next to the meditating gnome. We see another one, of course, in the playroom next to the long dog that Bluey even picks up herself and says, "Ooh, tennis ball."
Ooh, tennis ball. Oh, don't get distracted, Bluey.
And then we see a third one in the painting next to the closet where Bandit is hiding. Now, of course, we also have the Chattermax Easter egg, which technically this is like the introduction of Chattermax. Like, we did see Chattermax in the episode Fairies, but this was like the first ever proper introduction of it, where we talk about it, the name, and we get the actual like theme music in the background, which of course then made it into the second Bluey album and was like the whole cover of the Bluey album. And if you didn't know, Chattermax is absolutely 110% based off the 90s kids toy Furby, which still exists today as well, but everything about it is completely similar, including like the little things that like you feed it as well, and just the fact that there is no off switch. It just keeps going until you take out the batteries.
Ah! There's no off button! Mom, can you take out Chattermax's batteries?
I do feel like it was a long ongoing joke that maybe like Uncle Stripe was the one who gave it to the girls, just mostly to annoy Bandit. But apparently in the Bluey video game, it's more hinted that Uncle Rad was the one who actually gave them this toy. Again though, I like to think that it was to annoy Bandit. As for some of the other hidden details that you might have missed, one was the blue tongue lizard that we see Bluey doing a little tea party with. She does end up calling it a name, and that name is Gerald. And Gerald, that name continuously comes up in Bluey. It was in Hammerbarn, and of course most famously in Fairy Tale, because that's what Bob called Bandit.
Gerald, whatever your name is.
Oh, hello, Ricky Boo. My name's Gerald.
So I am convinced that there has to be a family friend called Gerald, or some other family member or cousin that is called Gerald. The other little Easter egg as well is for a future episode. So in the pantry at the very end where Bluey and Chili are hiding, on the left-hand side you see like this little like kind of pink dog on the cans, and that little toy comes up again in 2 episodes time in Mount Mum and Dad, and it's the toy from like the theme park that they went to. Overall for me though, cheeky dogs, this episode I'd probably give 3.5 long dogs out of 5. It appears as well that a lot of people on Reddit kind of feel the same about this, saying that this is sort of a more average style episode, and I totally understand why. I did personally absolutely love the joke at the start about Bluey calling Bandit her mum, because that is something that kids do all the time, saying mum and dad for the wrong parent.
Mom?
I'm not your mum.
We do, of course, have lots of Easter eggs, the long dogs and tennis balls, and of course the Chattermax in it as well. And it is really interesting about the idea of Bluey perhaps having undiagnosed ADHD, or at least like a little hint towards that. This episode, however, is not one that I would normally put on repeat or choose to watch, so that's why I tend to give it a slightly lower score. But cheeky dogs, let me know in that comment section down below, how many long dogs out of 5 would you give this episode, and what do you think about the theory with it as well? While you're down there as well, don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that bell for notifications, so you know whenever I release any other Bluey videos. But until then, I have picked you cheeky dogs out a few other videos that maybe you would like to watch, and I will see you all in another video. Mwah! Bye!